Right, well, I have been on the spanners all day. I think I mentioned in my last video that my anti-lock brakes and my speedometer had quit working. Well, as you can see, they're both working again. Now, before I committed to spending a lot of money on an ABS sensor, which I very nearly did, I've actually got a friend who's got a Triumph Twin. It's not a Scrambler. I think it's a Street. I can't remember if it's a Street Twin or a Speed Twin. Anyway, basically the same system on that, same sensors and the rest. So I borrowed one. Sensors, particularly the rear one, but the sensors are pretty easy to take off. So I borrowed one and still had the fault. So good job I didn't spend a load of money on one, because that's not what it was. Some people can't be asked using their indicators. Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, well, what the hell could it be then? And I had to resort to Google and Triumph forums and such like. And they do have, and I think this is all Triumph Twins, they have a reputation, some of them, for having wiring loom either not attached properly, not routed particularly well, and wires chafing. The classic one is by the headstock, where it disappears under the tank. Well, mine wasn't there. It was actually there's a big bundle of cables go into the ABS pump, which is down by the air filter, and I don't know whether the cables have been pulled from further up, from under the tank somewhere, but anyway, it had pulled one earth wire apart. I mean, completely apart. And bared the metal on numerous other cables, about 4 cables. There's about sort of 8 or 10 disappear down behind the side panel, and several of them, well, one was completely broken. There were a couple of others there that might as well have been, and some bare copper on show. Anyway, I patched that up without pulling too much of the bike apart. And what I've done is I've actually added about 25-30 mil of extra cable in there. I've spliced it in and soldered it in and put shrink over it, heat shrink over it. So hopefully now there's enough slack for it not to happen again. And also when I pulled it apart, there were various other things. Cables around the battery, in fact everywhere that's in the centre of the bike, under the seat, and under the side panels was a bit of a mess. So just for now I've gone back to the I think that was something else I put in my last video, working on number boards in place of the side panels. Well, just for temporary, I've gone back to side panels. I want to make damn sure I've left plenty of room behind those side panels so that none of this cable chafing and stretching is actually my fault. So this is by way of a very little test ride. It's sort of 2 or 3 miles, speedo's working, ABS light hasn't come on, EML light, that doesn't make sense, EML light, that would be an EMLL. The engine management light hasn't come on either. And everything seems to be working as it should. And sticking those rubber posts under the seat, which I showed in the last film, that makes it feel a hell of a lot better. My arse isn't rocking right. It feels like I'm connected to the bike. So anyway, now I can get back on with the exhaust, which is 3/4 done. And those number boards that I'm going to put on to replace the side panels, I'm just going to space, I'm not going to tuck them in quite as tight as I originally had them. I'm going to just space them out just a touch. Maybe another 10 mil. Just so they're not rubbing against any cables. What have I got under there? I've got cables and connectors under the left side, and on the right side there's a bunch of relays and other bits and pieces in there. So I'm just going to space them out just enough that they miss them altogether. Then hopefully I won't have another episode like this. With this time of year is the sun's so low it's permanently in your eyes. And I live on the west side of the country, so invariably I've got it in my eyes in the morning if I'm going anywhere with east in the equation, and I've got it in my face again in the evening if I'm going coming home, because I'm heading west to come home a lot of the time. Oh well, sod it, gets me out on the bike, that's the main thing. And so far I am I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed that I haven't got to throw a shitload of money at this thing. The one thing I did buy, which I'd been threatening to buy for a long time, which you saw in the last film, was the dealer tool. Now I can recommend that. I mean, I've just got it for one bike, for this bike. You can have an open-ended one which will work on any Triumph, or you can pay for additional bikes, but just for the one bike, I think with postage, I think it was sort of 70 odd quid all in. Really easy to set up, dead straightforward instructions, and I mean, I can put out the service spanner symbol. I can bleed my ABS brakes on there. That will open the relevant valves up and what have you, and of course it does throttle settings, and it does all sorts. It's look it up, dealer tool. It's, to my mind, worth it if you're mildly tech savvy, as in electronically computer type savvy. You'll be able to work it. It really is straightforward. I mean, that's not the kind of shit that I do most days. I'm an industrial engineer. I work on dirty, great big noisy smelly machines in factories. I don't have a huge amount of dealings with computers unless it's YouTube or Facebook or, you know, one of the social media platforms. I'm not tech in that respect. So yeah, big shout out for Dealer Tool. If you're the kind of person who does all your own work on your Triumph, well, it's going to save you money up front. But God, I don't know how much a Triumph dealer charges to plug it into a diagnostic machine, but anything like a car dealer, it's £100 plus. Now, you've already saved 35 quid. Or 30 odd quid, I think it was. I think it was just over 70 with postage. Right, well, there we are then. I'm happy with that. So, some good news for me. Thanks all for watching. Give me a thumbs up, and you know, like me, subscribe, leave a comment if you feel like it, whatever. Keep me going, keep me motivated to keep doing this, keep boring you with my videos, and I'll see you soon. Whether it'll be the exhaust one next time round or not, I don't know. But either way, I'll see you shortly, within the next week or two. Take care.